Kentucky Spin. Our four core values: respect, education, dignity, empowerment. Established 1988, Kentucky Spin is a parent training and information center in Kentucky. Hey everyone, Nick here. We're back with Kentucky Spin, here with another youth talk. For this youth talk, I'm going to talk a little bit about money management and some kind of personal advice to help manage your money better and help give you some advice and tips on paying your bills properly. So the first thing when it comes to money management is what to do when you get your money. When you're working your job or you're getting someone a paycheck from something, whether it be from some services or directly from working, it's what do you do with that paycheck first. Well, typically you might have some kind of direct deposit set up, or you might get it physically and deposit it manually. I have direct deposit because it's more convenient for me just to get it immediately that morning when the pay period hits. I just get it automatically on my phone. I don't have to fuss with it. You might prefer to have it to get a manual paycheck that you have to go deposit at the bank. Either way is fine. I prefer direct deposit. It's easier for me. So whatever works for you, it's your own thing. But then you gotta wonder, okay, well now that I have the money in the bank, or now that I have my money, what do I do with it? At Kentucky Spin, we have one of our other contents that we have about money management. We have a phrase that's called paying for yourself first, or taking care of yourself first, which is essentially when you get that first paycheck, take a little bit out before you start paying your bills and taking care of all that stuff. Get something for yourself first. Buy it. It could be something small. Just like treat yourself. Get yourself like a new game that you've been thinking about, a new book. Maybe go out and have a nice lunch or a nice dinner. Just something to kind of help you detox after the long work week or the long pay period, those long 2 weeks of, if you're living paycheck to paycheck like a lot of people are, kind of help you just detox and feel rewarded for all that work you've done. You've been working hard for the past week or 2 weeks, so you should be able to get something to make you feel good about it. So that's what we say by treating yourself or paying yourself before you go and start worrying about all those bills. You don't want to spend too much money on yourself because you still want to have money for savings and for your bills, but that's what we recommend doing first. That's what I do first. I always usually go and I buy myself a little something first every time I get paid. So it's just a good thing for you to do that. So after you treated yourself, and it comes to actually paying your bills and doing your savings, I have a little bit of advice for how to go about that. So me, when I pay my bills, I have a planner that I consult. I have it's on my calendar on my phone. I have it marked the days I get paid, which is for me it's every other week. It might be different for you, but typically on average people get paid every other week. That's how most businesses and employments do their pay periods. But I have it marked on my calendar so I know what day I get paid on, so I'm prepared and I can start planning ahead for that type of stuff. And my monthly bills, I have a list of all the bills that I am expected to pay that month that I need to pay for my residence where I live. And I also, as well with those bills, I have where I pay those bills at, because I pay my bills at different places. I pay all my bills online, but some I pay through my bank, and some I pay through the website that the bill is related to. So I have those in mind, and I also have in mind how much those bills typically cost on average. Now, bills do fluctuate in their price depending on time of year and other circumstances and things like that. But generally, there's a somewhat consistent average that the price of the bills will follow. And I had that kept in mind. So that way I know that, well, I know this month I'm going to have to spend X amount of money on all my bills. So then, once I have kind of the average of how much I'm going to be spending on my bills that month, I can then properly prepare for, okay, well, how much money do I have to put in savings now? And how much money do I have just for myself to spend on things that I want when I want them? So we kind of have like there's like a 50-30-20 thing that I found recently that I think is kind of useful to kind of keep in mind when dividing your paycheck, is that 20% of your paycheck you kind of want to spend on yourself, 30% you want to try and put in the savings, and the other 50% you use for bills and important stuff, which is a lot of money, but bills are expensive, and what can you do? And to reiterate, I have a planner. I have the days that I get paid. I know when I have also the days that my bills are typically due, because bills are usually due around the same time of the month. Like I have a couple bills that are due or halfway through the month, and I have a couple bills that are usually due around the 10th of the month. Yeah, so I have kind of a generally bills are usually due on the same days every month. So I have those in mind too. So I have how much those bills typically cost, what days those bills are due by, because you want to make sure you get those bills paid on time. So that way you don't have to pay extra when they're late. Um, so I keep those in mind. And also, I said you can pay your bills online. A lot of bills you don't even have to leave the house for. I don't leave the house to pay any of my bills. I a couple of my bills I pay online, like my internet and my power bill. I both go to the websites that is related to them, and I pay them online. And then for my other bills, like my utility and my water and things like that, I actually on my bank website, my bank account online, I have payees set up, which payees are things you can put in like an address and information related to the place that you're paying, and then every month I'll just go to that payee when I get my paper and my bill in the mail saying how much I owe for water or utility, etc. And then I'll just pay it online. I'll put in the payee how much I want to move, and then after like a week or so or a few days, it'll transfer that amount out of my account. And you want to be careful if you do payees, because payees don't pay as soon as you put the payee through. There's like a week long-ish transfer period. So you don't want to wait till like the day you're supposed to pay your bill and then use a payee, because then your bill will end up being late and you end up having to pay like another dollar, and it's a hassle to have to deal with paying for another dollar that you missed. So, but I digress. Um, so again, to go over everything I've talked about. When you get paid, treat yourself first. Spend a little bit of money on yourself, getting yourself something nice. Then break up how much you're going to pay for your bills, and then make sure if you have anything left, put that into savings and keep a little bit of aside just to help pay for things throughout the week. Know when your bills are due. Know what day you get paid on. Know how much the bills that you have to pay. Know how much that they cost on average, so that way you can properly budget and break up your check to make sure those bill needs are met. And then after that, whatever money you have left that you're not going to use for savings, because again, savings is important in case you need money for whatever reason. And then and once you have kind of a system figured out, like I have a good structured system, I have a routine for what I pay every month and how much money I pay, so I kind of have a general idea of how much money I have after all that stuff. Once you have a routine going, you don't have to worry about those bills and all that payment as much. But again, that's just my advice. That's just what I do, and it works for me. It might not work for you, but try it. Maybe it will. Otherwise, this is Nick with Kentucky Spin, here talking about money management, and I will see you for the next Youth Talk. Thank you. Visit www.kyspin.com.